In Maxwell trial, defense calls Eva Dubin, who denies sex with Jane but says cannot remember much, by Matthew Russell Lee. Patron song video ruling BBC, Decrypt, Light Read, Radio, Podcast, SDNY Courthouse, December 17. Ghislaine Maxwell, charged with sex trafficking and other charges, is amid a trial that started on November 29, after the November 23 final pre-trial conference. Vlog here. On October 29 and again on November 12, Maxwell and the U.S. Attorney's Office for the Southern District of New York filed a flurry of motions in limine, heavily redacted. The government argued that trial exhibits are not public and will be withheld. Inner City Press opposed and opposes the continued secrecy. And CDC op-ed here. On December 16, after a 3-day hiatus as Judge Nathan went to D.C. seeking to D-Circuit seat, Maxwell's defense began, with her executive assistant Simerly Espinoza. Inner City Press live tweeted here, 8:45 a.m. live stream here, podcast here. On the morning of December 17, the defense put on 2 agents and Eva Dubin. Inner City Press live tweeted here, podcasts here and here. It's U.S. v. Ghislaine Maxwell trial date 12, defense arguing to keep their case open until Monday for a final. 81-year-old witness. Judge Nathan, I'm letting in the documents about residence versus ownership. If I weren't, you might have a point. Is this deposition transcript new to you? Maxwell's lawyer, she was deposed in a slip and fall case. Judge Nathan, you'll provide the transcript. Judge Nathan, I have a rule. You have your next witness or you rest. If otherwise the case closes today, it closes today. Couldn't Maxwell's lawyers just do super long direct examination? And what about the 3-day hiatus? Maxwell's lawyer, also if the marshals can produce another witness we've subpoenaed. The other witness, from the UK, if they will stipulate to it, there'd be no review. Assistant U.S. Attorney, the subpoenaed witness Kelly, we have no idea what she'd say. No stip. Judge Nathan, there are also some 40 prior inconsistent statements. My colleague Judge Kaplan has helpfully set forth the standard. He's the judge with Geoffrey v. Prince Andrew before him, which Inner City Press is also reporting on. Judge Nathan, Annie said she didn't remember a chef being there, on the Zorro Ranch, but that it made sense to her, so not inconsistency. And the amount of horseback riding is a collateral issue. Maxwell's lawyer, I think impeachment is for the truth of the matter asserted. Judge Nathan, that's way too metaphysical for me to handle right now. Laughs. Maxwell's lawyer, we'll have a law enforcement witness and we'd like to ask leading questions. Judge Nathan, truth comes out on direct. Start with that. Maxwell's lawyer, I want to get to the absence of evidence, the lack of GPS given the age of the allegations. Maxwell's lawyer Everdell, I wanted to ask the agent, that the complaint was first on one time frame then more recent, with Carolyn. I think that's relevant. Also, the court has already ruled on this. The path of the investigation. Let's them raise it in closing. Judge Nathan, who's the first defense witness today? Maxwell's lawyer, first Special Agent Jason Richards. Then we would have had Agent Young. Then, drum roll, Eva Dubin. Okay, jury is finally called in at 10:30 a.m. An hour late. All rise. Witnesses Agent Jason Richards. Maxwell's Pagliuca, where are you based? Richards, Miami. Before, Palm Beach. Pagliuca, let's turn to 2006. Richards, I was in Unit PV2. We investigated Epstein. Pagliuca, did you interview Carolyn? Don't say her last name. Agent Richards, I did. Pagliuca, did you recall Carolyn saying she obtained Epstein's number from a phone book and that Epstein returned her call? Richards, if that's what's in the 302 report. Pagliuca, no further questions. Cross. Also, do you show your 302s to those you speak to? Richards, number. Judge Nathan, defense may call its next witness. Maxwell's lawyer, we call Agent Amanda Young. Maxwell's lawyer, Agent Young, was your partner Detective Burns? Young, yes. We both checked the 302. Maxwell's lawyer, you just heard Miss Comey's questions to Agent Richards. 302s are not transcripts, right? Young, they are not. Maxwell's lawyer, you interviewed Danny Farmer about the boots, right? Young, yes. The boots were obtained by law enforcement this year. I don't remember which month. Maxwell's lawyer, read this. Young, in the beginning, Jane would be with her mother and brothers at the Epstein house. Maxwell's lawyer, Menninger. I want to turn to page 7. You wrote, Jane did not recall specific abuse that may have occurred in New Mexico. Maxwell's lawyer, just to emphasize, the boots were discussed recently. Young. Yes. Cross. Also, what did you do before? Young. I interviewed children about child abuse. Now there's a sidebar. Agent Amanda Young sits in the plexiglass witness box, in dark blue shirt, black jacket. They're back. Judge Nathan, jurors will disregard the statement about Agent Young's previous job interviewing children. Also, did Jane need more than one meeting to say what happened? Maxwell's lawyer, objection. Beyond the scope. Also, I'll try another way. Who was there for the interviews? Maxwell's lawyer, objection. Beyond the scope. I didn't ask about this. Redirect. Maxwell's Menninger, you used these notes with the grand jury, right? Young. Some of them. Maxwell's Menninger, did you show her the 302s? Young. Number. It's not ethical. It's not appropriate. Maxwell's Menninger, you don't record them? Young. Only those in custody, not victim. Witnesses. Maxwell's Menninger, are you familiar with the Dodge obtaining evidence protocols? Also, objection. Judge Nathan, overruled. Menninger, I have a document. I can show it. And now, yet another sidebar. And now, the next witness, Eva Dubin. Witness, I am Eva Anderson. I also go by Eva Anderson Dubin. I live in NYC. I am 60. Maxwell's lawyer, you are married to Glenn Dubin? Eva, yes. 28 years. We have 3 children, 27, 25 and 20. Maxwell's lawyer, gender, Eva, female, male, female. Maxwell's lawyer, what does Mr. Dubin do for employment? Eva, he is self-employed. I was previously employed as a medical doctor. Eva, I went to medical school in Stockholm, then UCLA, then Lenox Hill Hospital in NYC. Maxwell's lawyer, did you know Mr. Epstein? Eva, we dated off and on from 1983 until 1991. Maxwell's lawyer, did you ever witness any sexual contact between Mr. Epstein and, also Mo? Objection. Another sidebar. Maxwell's lawyer, let me show you some photographs under seal. Is one person Mr. Epstein and the other one of your children? Eva, yes, it's the 20. I've never seen this picture before. Maxwell's lawyer, let me ask you about flight records. These remain largely redacted and inner city press challenge still not docketed, apparently under the theory that if it's denied, it's not a judicial document. Judge Nathan, I'll give the jurors their mid-morning break. Jurors leave, and witness steps out. Judge Nathan, if there's something inaccurate in the media at large, like a blog post. Judge Nathan, I sustain the government's objection to asking about published flight logs, under 401 and 403. Now we'll take our break. On the screen, Flight with G, Eva Anderson and Miss Frances Jardine. Maxwell's lawyer, do you remember Frances Jardine? Eva, I remember Frances. I didn't know her last name. Maxwell's lawyer, you knew Mr. Epstein was dating her? Eva, yes. Maxwell's lawyer, I'll show you sealed exhibit GX12. And now, only for the witness and court, unredacted exhibit 662, nothing shown on screen. Eva, I recognize Sophie Biddle, a massage therapist, and I see my husband's name. Maxwell's lawyer, without saying the name that we are not saying, do you see it on the list? Eva, yes. Maxwell's lawyer, have you ever been in a group sexual encounter with Jane? Eva, I have not. Maxwell's lawyer, that's all I have. Judge Nathan, Ms. Mo. Cross, also Mo. Are you the only Eva in the whole wide world? Maxwell's lawyer, objection on relevance. Judge Nathan, overruled. Also Mo. Did you ever discuss with Mr. Epstein his relationship with Ms. Maxwell? Maxwell's lawyer, hearsay. Judge Nathan, sustained. Also Mo. With respect, do you have issues with your memory? Eva, I can't remember things from last month. Maxwell's lawyer, this does not need to be discussed. Also Mo. Nothing further. No redirect. On December 10th, leading up to the U.S. resting of its case, Annie Farmer was cross-examined. Then her ex-boyfriend and mother testified. Inner City Press live tweeted it here, podcast here, stand up, Mac's sister, and circus. Again, where is the press opposition to all this sealing? And the decision maker? Inner City Press is covering the trial, and all that comes before and after it. # court case cast and Song I, Song 2, Song 3, 5th song, November 27th song, December 4th song, and now December 11th song. On October 18th the U.S. Attorney's Office opposed the request, saying that the voir dire questions should be asked by Judge Nathan, and that there should only be sidebars on sensitive questions such as those that relate to sexual abuse and media exposure. Full letter on Patreon here. In a conference on October 21st on that as scheduling issues, Judge Nathan denied the request to seal. Inner City Press live tweeted it here, podcast here. On October 22nd the draft jury questionnaire was unsealed and Inner City Press has immediately published it on its document cloud here, including have you or a family member ever supported, lobbied, petitioned, protested, or worked in any other manner for or against any laws, regulations, or organizations relating to sex trafficking, sex crimes against minors, sex abuse or sexual harassment? Photo here. After the death of Jeffrey Epstein in the MCC prison, on July 2, acting U.S. Attorney for the SDNY Audrey Strauss announced and unsealed an indictment of Maxwell on charges including sex trafficking and perjury. Inner City Press went to her press conference at the U.S. Attorney's Office and asked, doesn't charging Maxwell with perjury undercut any ability to use testimony from her against other, bigger wrongdoers? Periscope here at 23:07. Strauss replied that it is not impossible to use a perjurer's testimony, but how often does it work? At 3:30 p.m. on July 2 Maxwell appeared in the U.S. District Court for the District of New Hampshire, before Magistrate Judge Andrea K. Johnston. Inner City Press live tweeted it here. Also live tweeted bail denial of July 14. Here, in the July 3 media coverage of Maxwell, media all of the world used a video and stills from it of Maxwell speaking in front of a blue curtain, like here. What they did not mention is something Inner City Press has been asking the UN about, as under UNSG Antonio Guterres with his own sexual exploitation issues, exclusive video and audio, it got roughed up and banned from the UN. Ghislaine Maxwell had a ghoulish United Nations press conference, under the banner of the Terramar Project, here. On July 5, after some crowdsourcing, Inner City Press reported on another Ghislaine Maxwell use of the United Nations, facilitated by Italy's permanent representative to the UN official Nikhil Seth and Demir Dossal, who also let into the UN and in one case took money from convicted UN briber Eng Lap Seng, and Patrick Ho of Sefc China Energy, also linked to UN Secretary-General Antonio Guterres. At the Ghislaine Maxwell UN event, the UN Deputy Secretary-General was directly involved. List of some of the participants on Patreon here. Inner City Press has published a phone of Maxwell in the UN with Dossal, here, but the connection runs deeper. Dossal, with 25 years of UN involvement, was on Terramar's board of directors, one of only 5 directors, only 3 not related to Maxwell by blood and name. The directors, Ghislaine Maxwell, Christine Maulina Maxwell, Stephen Haft, Christine Dennis and Amir Dossal. Inner City Press is publishing this full 990 on Patreon here. Dossal has operated through the UN Office of Partnership, with Antonio Guterres and his deputy Amina J. Mohammed, here, and the links to the world of UN bribery, including Antonio Guterres through the Gulbenkian Foundation, runs deeper. More to follow. Antonio Guterres claims he has zero tolerance for sexual exploitation, but covers it up and even participate in it. He should be forced to resign, and or have immunity waived. Terramar has been dissolved, even though Maxwell's former fundraiser, Director of Development Brian Urisic still lists the URL on his protected Twitter profile, also here. But now Inner City Press has begun to inquire into Ghislaine Maxwell's other United Nations connections, starting with this photograph of another day's, or at least another outfit's, presentation in the UN, here. While co-conspirator Antonio Guterres has had Inner City Press banned from any entry into the UN for 2 years and a day, this appears to be in the UN Economic and Social Council, ECOSOC, chamber. We'll have more on this, and on Epstein and the UN. Watch this site. The case is US v. Maxwell, 20 CR 330, Nathan. To find out more, please follow the links on screen and in the description. Together, let's make sure justice is served.